Check.
Good afternoon. Are we ready? Because there's an echo.
Check.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And I think I can speak without. You can use it. I keep talking. Okay. 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 Once again, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the first ever graduation ceremony, whereby we are going to witness people graduating from the sign language class, the first ever first cohort. Mr. Dean, allow me to congratulate you because this is an opportunity that introduces us to what they call soft skills. And soft skills are needed in today's world. And I appreciate the class. It's such a big class. Please clap for yourselves. I'm so delighted to see that you're all um, doing this. Once again, allow me to welcome our tutors of this sign language. I would request them to raise their hands, or now that I don't know the sign language, our tutors. Please stand up for recognition. Yes, thank you so much. At a moment due, they will do that the needful. Once again, allow me to welcome you, the students who have taken the time off to graduate, to study, not to graduate, to study. Take off your time. It's not, you're not like anyone else, because as students, we have the students and staff. And to me, I'm humbled to see that you pick off time to get this skill for you. Please clap for yourselves. Yes. Before I joined the communication office, I was in charge of I was the focal person of PWDs. And I had a training in South Africa, in Johannesburg, whereby they told us that the language you use makes a person or breaks a person. It is up to us to know how to live in an inclusive society. And at the end of it all, how do we become inclusive? Seeing that people who can speak and see are taking up sign language is one of the signs of inclusivity. Once again, Mr. Dean, allow me to appreciate the students who have started and taken this on. At this moment, allow me to welcome Madam Stella Dusabe, who is our coordinator for the PWDs. Stella has done a great job of taking over this responsibility. She coordinates the students. She takes the time off to find out the opportunities, study opportunities. However busy I am, she'll disturb me till a student gets what they want. Let's acknowledge Madam Stella as she speaks to us. You can stay there.
Thank you very much, Madam Angela, for the opportunity. I'm very happy today. I may not have so much to say because my duty is to welcome you. Thank you very much for having accepted when we called you to do this course, which we thought is very important for inclusivity in our environment. We thank God very much that you did it and we have come to the end. Uh, First of all, I'm going to thank the Dean of Students who allowed us, as I may call it, testing, but you have proved that you are able and you can do it. And thank you very much for having done the course and completed it successfully. I thank God for that. And I am very grateful for the tutors who did their work so perfectly that I can see my students even signing for me as I'm talking. Thank Thanks be to God. You are very much welcome to this ever and the first ever graduation in Maria University for Sign Language. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Madam Stella. Ladies and gentlemen, um, we all have dockets where we work and perform, and students' welfare and inclusivity is under the Dean of Students docket. Ladies and gentlemen, I always tease him and say, this is the father without family planning. Each year he has over 1,000 students to take care of. And so far, so good. Yes, we thank you for always being there for the students and supporting them, especially what goes behind closed doors in the hospital. You may not know, but students' welfare is not exactly simple. We appreciate that and also encourage you that don't lose hope, just like a father never loses hope in their children. Please address us at this moment, and as we are going to graduate, we don't know whether we have graduation gifts or cups, but we know you're going to support us.
Thank you, Angela. Uh, the, the coordinator, the facilitators, all the participants, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a special day in many ways. One, that we are commemorating the International Day for People with Disabilities, almost a week ahead of time, because on 3rd of December, we shall be commemorating the International Day of People Living with Disabilities. But because we are now in the examination season, and 3rd December is a timetable day, we shall combine that one as well. That is one aspect of how special today is. The other aspect is the national celebrations as well. The national celebrations will still be on the 3rd of December in Kumi district. And as we are joining the national celebrations ahead of time. And then, of course, also, the other importance is we are looking at, until recently, a little used language, and that is sign language. Like we all need language to communicate, speak, so is the understanding that sign language is very vital for everybody. Now, language is both a soft skill and a hard skill. Today, if you are multilingual, you can speak more than 1, 2 languages. Globally, you increase your opportunities. Now, if you add sign language, you'll also add it on your language competencies. So it will also add value to your communication skills, but equally to your potential to participate in national and global endeavors. Many people who watch TV will watch sign language interpreters in one small corner of the screen. And because many people can actually read and listen to what the news reader is talking about, we don't realize the importance of those people who need to get the same news, but who may not be having the ability to listen like most of us do listen. And therefore, like I said, this function is threefold. 1, commemoration. 2, remembrance. And then 3, graduating the cohort of those who have done their training. Now, back to the International Day of Persons with Disabilities, because some of you might be new to this agenda. The International Day of Disabilities that is usually commemorated on the 3rd day of December. For 2024, it has a global theme. And the global theme, or the international theme, is amplifying the leadership of persons with disabilities for an inclusive and sustainable future. Not inclusive and sustainable future. Not many people understand or interpret what we regard to as a disability. You may get surprised that most of us are less abled in one way or the other. However, what we tend to look as a disability has been mainly the physical disability, because for it is very visible. We forget that the bigger population we have in this world are actually having invisible disabilities. And therefore, when we are talking about people living with disabilities, we should actually not be looking around to look at the visible disabilities. We should learn to understand as we go on the types of disabilities that can make us or affect how we go about our day-to-day lives. Now, the national theme, while we have an international theme, the national theme for 2024 is improved household incomes for well-being of people with disabilities. Government has been emphasizing the importance of household incomes, and therefore including people with disabilities in this campaign of improved household incomes is one key factor of inclusivity. That is at a national level. Now, the slogan globally for 2024 is no limits, just possibilities. No limits, just possibilities. In other words, when we are talking about a disability in one way or the other, it's not necessarily a limitation to achieving. And when we appreciate that, then we'd also even appreciate more the component of sign language that is trying to address a specific population of those who need that aspect. We need to increase our disability literacy, our understanding across all other aspects of disability beyond hearing, beyond speech. So why do we observe such international days? Why do we observe at national level? Why do we observe as a university? Why do we observe as individuals? One is to promote the rights and well-being of persons with disabilities. All of us want to promote our rights. It's a human right. All of us want to promote our well-being. It's a human right. And therefore, irrespective of your level of ability, of your level of your disability, you are as entitled to your rights and well-being enshrined under the United Nations Convention for Human Rights. Two is to raise awareness of the situations of persons living with disabilities. Awareness is that depending upon your level of disability or type of your disability, you may not have as much control over navigating through your surroundings, your environment, like those people who might be better able-bodied. The other aspect is to accept and honor each person's uniqueness. The reason why we have different identities is because each of us is unique in our own way. So we also must be able to appreciate each and everybody's uniqueness. For those of you who believe in the theory of creation, if God had wanted us all to look alike, we would. But the fact that you can differentiate person A from person B means that there are certain unique identifiers that we have. Even identical twins can still have their own unique identifiers. And therefore, we must accept our uniqueness. The fact that somebody might be looking, appearing, or performing differently from you must be accepted and honored as well. But also equally, to promote visibility in the sense that we should know that there is a population that must be made to be known, to be seen, to be respected, to be provided for. And therefore, we need to mainstream this into our daily activities, into our planning, such that we get everybody moving, participating, and that's what inclusivity is about. But also, most importantly, self-awareness. There are people who sit out there, back there, and for them, they know after all, I can't do anything about it. I can't perform. I can't participate. Because of lack of self-awareness, to know that I can do something, I can contribute, I can add value, I can. And therefore, self-awareness is very important, and it helps us to embrace all disabilities. So that is why we usually observe these days. There is a history to that. So as a country, what's going on? As a country, what are we doing? Like I said, this year's national celebrations will be on the 3rd of December, 2024, in Kumi district in eastern Uganda. Like I've also mentioned, this year's national theme is improved household incomes for well-being of people with disabilities. We cannot underrate the power of economic empowerment. If you are going to help people with any form of need, any form of special need, the first consideration will be economic empowerment. It will enable you to access the services you need. It will enable you to improve your welfare. It will enable you to improve your status in society, and therefore economic empowerment should be high on the agenda of anybody hoping to give support to persons living with disabilities. And the highlight at the national level for 2024 is the essential role of economic empowerment in reducing inequality and improving livelihoods. Reducing inequality and improving livelihoods. So at the national level, now the focus is on reducing inequality. But above all, promoting inclusion in society. Are we together? Now, when we are able to appreciate this, then we shall also be able to keep track of what is going on in our societies. Many people with disabilities are not even aware of a number of the government initiatives. For instance, government has special grants. Government has special grants for people with disabilities since 2019, for 5 consecutive years now. And on record, more than 7,000 enterprise groups have been supported, consisting of more than 55,000 persons with disabilities. The question is, are we aware of some of these opportunities? Take an example, the parish development model that the government is promoting currently has a percentage of the funds ring-fenced with the persons with disabilities. Are we aware? The Emyoga initiative, if for those of you who take interest in looking at what government is doing, the Emyoga initiative, each constituency allocates money to circles for persons with disabilities. I'm aware at Mbara University we have an association of persons with disabilities grappling with getting how to get financial support, and there are already opportunities, even within the government, that supports such initiatives. And like I said, the most current is the parish development model. I'm not so sure of the percentage, but it could be up to 10%. 10%. Up to 10% of the money to each parish can be accessed by people with disabilities. Now, 10% is not a small percentage if per parish, if you can go around and making people aware of that. I know the Emyoga initiative, each constituency allocates almost 30 million shillings. 30 million shillings per constituency for PWDs. And the challenge is that some of these funds may not be necessarily used by the right beneficiaries because possibly they are not mobilized, they are not organized. But of course, we also know, for those of us who have been in education institutions, that for a number of years, government has been supporting education for persons with disabilities. That is how the Special Needs Institute at Chamberlain University was formed, UNICEF, as a government initiative to make sure that people who need and can access education can also get access to higher education. So these are some of the initiatives that the government is looking at. Even within the health sector, we know that government has been endeavoring to expand and including surgeries with children with disabilities, and there are a number of units which we know. We know there are units in Kosu. We know there are units in Mbale. Exactly. So there are initiatives by government that already government is doing something about it. And also, the orthopedic centers in regional hospitals for assistive devices. I know that the government is trying to reactivate these orthopedic centers at regional levels for assistive devices. And also in health centers now, in health centers, they are recruiting sign language interpreters. Are you aware? In health centers in Uganda, I think up to health center 3, they are also in need of sign language interpreters, so that people who need that mode of communication don't lose out in the health sector. I am aware that the government is also trying to scale up initiatives of reviving the orthopedic regional centers for assistive devices. There is also a debate on child disability grants to families with children with severe disabilities. Because if you have a child at home with special needs, a child at home with a disability, the cost of raising this child might be higher. I know government is also considering a grant for families that are supporting children with disabilities. I also know that there's a campaign by government to increase PWD access to PDM funds. Some parishes can't utilize that percentage for PWDs because they don't have organized groups, they don't have organized families, they don't have individuals who are into such enterprises. So government is also putting an initiative. I want to emphasize this so that you know that even within the country, even within our parishes, even within our constituencies, there's already intervention. You don't necessarily have to walk very far to get the kind of support that you may need if you fall genuinely into the categories of the people who need the support. So we are talking about International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities. So how did it begin? Now, way back in 1976, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed 1981 as the International Year of Disabled Persons. It was given a 5-year time frame to implement. So at an international level, this observance has been since 1976, close to 50 years. 1983 to 1992 was declared the United Nations Decade of Persons with Disabilities. And from 1992 up to date, every year, the 3rd of December is a Remembrance Day for persons with disabilities. And therefore, what you are doing now in your taking interest in sign language is just a modest contribution to what the world is looking at in terms of inclusivity in our communities. So this day was observed as the International Day of Disabled People until 2007, when it was thought that calling people disabled will not get them emancipated. So from 2007, they stopped looking at referring to people as people who are disabled to people living with disability. I hope you can tell the difference between the two connotations. I remember Angela reminded us at the beginning of this session that the language you use can build or destroy a person. And that was the consideration. By always referring to this person as disabled, you get him or her convinced that, that they are not able to participate at any level. So that was the whole intention of how do we get the language more friendly. Now, even going back, because I started from what we do in Uganda, I went to how the International Day for the Disabled began. I want to go back to the UN Convention on the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which was approved by the United Nations General Assembly in Paris on 10th December 1948. Now, this declaration of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was a declaration that came after widespread abuses during the Second World War, where people who had the power had the authority to destroy whatever they could. I am afraid, even many years down the road, we are still seeing significant human destruction. But of interest, during that United Nations meeting, there was a vote. 48 voted in support of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Now, there are countries which absconded. There are countries which never voted. Now, which are these countries that never voted? Listen closely. One of them was the Soviet Republic, currently Russia. It did not observe the Declaration of Human Rights, and today we know what happens in Russia. The other country that actually never signed was Ukraine. For those of you who are in the news, you know what happens in Ukraine. So the fundamentals of human rights are fundamental to peace and pacification in the world. The other countries that never signed are Russia, Poland, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, and Saudi Arabia. The other unique country that never signed was the Union of South Africa, because it was under apartheid rule. The governors, the colonialists in South Africa, did not want to be caught on the wrong side, so for them they didn't want to respect human rights. But countries that embraced human rights, even in terms of economic indicators, have grown very fast. You can call it the countries, you can call it the communities, you can call it the families. Inclusivity is good for all of us. If you look at the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, if we give examples, you realize that there are no rights for different people. Human beings are human beings. Whether you have one arm, you are a human being. Whether you have one leg, whether you have got one eye, whether you can hear, whether you can speak, whether you can run, you are a human being. You have your rights as a human being. And for instance, since you are an academic environment, Article 1 of the Declaration of Human Rights is very clear. All human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. None of us made a choice on how we should be born. If you did, you must be very unique. All human beings are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. Of course, they're using brotherhood because I'm sure by 1948, sisters and we are not very much organized. But that is what I am reading from what the declaration was. Now, Article 6 tells us that everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. The question is, so the statement is everyone. So the element of disability is a mindset that is within us human beings. Another interesting article in that declaration is Article 22, which spells that everyone as a member of society has the right to social security and is entitled to realization through national effort and international cooperation and in accordance with the organization and resources of each state. So each country is obliged to provide for its population, irrespective of whether you classify people as disabled or not. And Uganda, as a country, I think, is trying its best. Article 25, subsection 1, I also find of interest, which also spells that everyone has a right to a standard of living adequate for health and well-being of himself or herself or their family. Standard of living. So when we are talking about awareness, what can make a person who has disabilities have a different standard of living? And we started by discussing the importance of economic emancipation. And these standards include food, include clothing, include housing, include medical care, including social services such as education. Now, so the national focus of people with disabilities has categorized disabilities in different categories. There are those vision, there are those mobility, there are those of hearing, there are those of speaking, there are those of thinking, there are those of remembering. There are so many types of disabilities that are being looked at. So hearing is one of them. Communication disorders, motor impairment, visual impairment, emotional and behavioral disorders, cognitive impairment, learning challenges, loss of feeling when your body can no longer. So there are a number of those categories. However, we must also differentiate an impairment from a disability. When an impairment is corrected, it ceases to become a disability. Take an example. I'm using glasses because I don't see clearly without them. But because now I use my glasses, my visual is no longer an impairment. So that is why we talk about assistive devices. That an impairment should not relegate you thinking that you are disabled. If your impairment can be can be corrected or reversed. So back to Mbara University, what are we doing? Mbara University, the focus is to mainstream disability issues in all university programs and activities. That's why we are here. I'm glad that the pioneer focal person, Angela Nakato, who is now the senior communications officer for the university, is still in the struggle of making sure that inclusivity is not left behind. Thank you very much, Angela. The other aspect is to promote equal opportunities. Whether you're a student, whether you're a member of staff, whether you're a stakeholder like a service provider, it is important to appreciate that we need to promote equal opportunities. Whether you are doing an interview for a job, whether you have applied for a program, we know that there are certain challenging environments that we are still grappling with that may not favor students with certain disabilities, but the plan for the university is to make sure that all our environment is friendly to persons with disabilities. The other one is to create a conducive working and learning environment. There is a student who studied from here and graduated. I only realized that she was blind when she was actually clearing. She was doing a master's in development studies. She came and studied for 2 years and had not realized that she was still blind. But she was able to get her way out. We have a student who is completing Masters of Science in Education, and he moves around the campus with his white stick, with a white cane, and you don't see him deterred. So as a university, we are working hard to make sure that we can have that type of inclusivity. And of course, also to promote conscientiousness. Society has been very insensitive, stigmatizing people because of their different abilities. So we are trying as much as possible to make sure that we have zero tolerance to stigma. At the last graduation, there is a graduate in pharmacy who was wheelchair bound. He was able to navigate his way through the 4 years. Never failed in a subject, never got a retake, studied, and graduated. He's now a pharmacist. That's the kind of environment that we want to promote for everybody. So we need to have disability user-friendly services, whether it is in terms of movement, whether it is in terms of classroom environment, whether it is in terms of accommodation. Of course, we also need to promote partnerships and collaboration among other stakeholders. I'm glad that the trainers we have had for this training are really partners that we have gotten to interact with along the way. So that is one of the aspects that we are looking at, creating strategic partnerships. None of us could be a sign language instructor, but here we are graduating a cohort of sign language literate people through our stakeholder engagement. Of course, we are interested in undertaking research. Even retrospectively, at what stage can we minimize it? Or at what stage can we be able to manage the situation? And in the event that the situation is irreversible, how can we make it a comfortable living for everybody. In conclusion, MUST is committed to implementing an institutional policy on persons with disabilities. And Madam Stella Dusave is the lead person in implementing the policy. What we are witnessing now is one of the activities that the policy is trying to advocate for. Also, the university recognizes the rights of persons with disabilities and the requirements of the national and international legal provisions as provided for within our institutional policy. And like I have mentioned before, continued stakeholder engagement. It will be promoted in all efforts to mainstream PWD's issues within the university. So as you are here now, encourage people who might be feeling left out, those who might be fearing to apply to my university as students, those who may be fearing to apply for employment, those who might be fearing to apply for business opportunities, that Mbara University is an equal opportunity institution and that we have ears to listen to everybody's interest and that everybody can be included and that we want to be champions of inclusivity. Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you, Mr. Den. Ladies and gentlemen, I know you've been seated for long. Allow me that at this moment, we just try out an energizer. Do you have a paper where you are? You have a paper? We all got papers? Okay. Do you have a neighbor? Do you have a neighbor with you? Now just get the paper, put it at the back of your neck. Your neck, okay? With the hand that you don't use to write. Okay, now face your neighbor. Face your neighbor. Can you start drawing their faces? Draw the face. Oh, come on, you can do it. Draw, find a partner. You can draw the face right now. Okay. Put the eyes. Put the nose. People are already smiling. Put the ears. If it's a lady, put her hair. Okay. Put glasses if they are wearing glasses. Show them the picture now. That's what we think of you. Ow. Is that what you think of your others? Oh my God. This one has two faces. Is that what we have? What was I trying to show you? Some of you are going to be employers. Okay? Try to put yourself in the position of someone who doesn't see what you're doing. So you've tried to bring out my face without seeing. Can you do that as a boss? Can you fit in the shoes of someone with impairment? Mr. Dean, I would like to tell the students one thing. No one has a receipt on earth. Do you have a receipt that you're guaranteed to be like this till death? So who are we? We are temporarily able-bodied. We are temporarily. Maybe some of you may know we had a student here called Janet. Janet was born like you and me, very normal. And one day she got an accident. And her jaw was destroyed, her hip was destroyed, and I think the arm, yeah? Janet made it into life because of motivation. At a certain time, she wanted to clear herself. Why am I telling you all this? That you are able, but put yourself in the shoes of someone with an impairment. So Janet got medication. As they were treating the leg, the broken leg that she's screaming about, little did they realize that the jaw was affected more. Later, they realized that actually the jaw was getting cancerous and rotten. They had to take it out. Janat was the hardest or challenging student we've ever had in MUST, but she was never feeling sorry for herself. You'd find her in praise and worship. You know, her jaw was out. Imagine a face without a jaw. Every time she would turn up, people would do this. People were scared. But Janat would even encourage those who are going through a hard time. Unfortunately, we lost Janat in her 4th year. Why? But she left a message of encouragement. She said, every time you meet students, by then I think Madam Stella was still the administrator first. She said, anytime you meet students, tell them to thank God for who they are. You never know what will happen. So Janat was one of the people who would stand up and tell her story at every conference and people would break down. If you are here today and you've chosen to take up this class, you're trying to put yourself in the shoes of those people who cannot speak or see. And one other thing is you're going to get certificates. Get a photocopy, hang it somewhere where people pass. Why? You're motivating others that they can do it. You can do it, I can do it, everyone can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, let's receive the presentation from our keynote speaker, Engineer Anki, who is going to work with Sunday Bright from the Uganda Sign Language interpreters. Anki, the floor is yours. I think she just stepped out. Thank you. Let's welcome her with an applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Most of you know me. I'm Anke Weisheit, an agriculture engineer and working at the Barrow University as Chair Innovation and Business Management of Farm Biotrack, Pharmaceutical, Biotechnology and Traditional Medicine Center. I was also part of the planning, conceptualizing, and executing of this sign language program we are now concluding today. And my role was mainly on deaf culture, communicating with the deaf, and organizatorical work. The projector has now failed. Technology is not with us. I was trying to show you a video. I don't know who knows Charlie Chaplin. Who knows the movie Charlie Chaplin, the actor? You know. Charlie Chaplin is one of the famous actors who was in the film before sound came to the TV or the cinema. You are aware that the cinema started with moving picture. So first, we had photos. Second, we had moving pictures, which means like a video. And only later, sound came onto the video. So this is a good sample to show you that speaking is not always needed when you are communicating. There are other ways of communicating. And I was showing you a short clip on Charlie Chaplin, and you'll find it very funny, and yet there's no sound all of us understand it. So in communicating with the deaf, it's very important to keep visible and use also non-verbal communication, non-voice communication. So now we are playing the video. Just watch the video. You see they're in a factory and doing work, and the short guy is Charlie Chaplin. So you see the boss, what is the boss saying? Be faster, be faster. That short guy is the Charlie Chaplin, actually, in his... You see the... You see? Communication without words. Now he's stalking the lady. So this was in the past, how film was produced. These are the early form of films where communication was real, as you see, just pictures. So now some small communication with the deaf. Most of you who attended the training are aware of what I'm presenting. It's for the good of the online community who may not had the chance to be with us. So for us, we know now we are used. It's very important when we have the training, and that was one of the effort. We need the language models in language training. That's why you see in every class we have deaf people. We call them also native signers, very important, so that the students who attend the class get conversant with real deaf people, or not theory and books, live and in color. So, how you pay attention, how you get attention to a deaf person, we know. We either tap on the shoulder, we wave, we can also put on the table. Oh, why is he, you see? He's responded. So you knock on the table when there's a group. You can also go and switch on and off the lights for a class when you want attention. And if you're on a wooden floor, like on a stage, usually they are wooden or they're flexible, you can also stomp and people get attention. In a hearing class, you know how people do give attention so that you look. So, one of the communication, when you are not privileged to be in a class and have the training for sign language, use gesture. When are you using gesture? in daily life. For example, when you are meeting a person who does not know your language. And that is simply the same as you are meeting a deaf. It's just a different language. Nothing is different, just a language. So use gestures to get simple context and sit and work together and communicate. We say we speak with hands and feet. When we say we speak with someone whose language is not ours, we speak with hands and feet, means gestures. Oh, by the way, pointing is not rude in a deaf community. You. Can I say you, Dean? No. You. In English, it's not allowed. In the deaf, it's very nice, no problem. Just point. But when the VC of Barrow University comes and say, oh, VC is here. Oh, she will look, what's happened? But if she has attended the class, she say it was fine. Now, when you talk, right now I know the cameras, which are the eyes online, unfortunately don't have the sign language interpreter. We actually theoretically need 4 sign language interpreters. 1 next to me for the camera, 1 next to the deaf who sits on the high table here, and after 20, 30 minutes, they have to rotate. So in total, we need 4. We are learning, that is our first, at least for the physical attending people who have sign language as their language, the interpreter is here. So that's how. And when you're communicating to deaf people, look at their face. Communicate, not pointing away on, when you're presenting and start reading line for line. Now, the deaf will not get. It's very important to face the deaf people while signing. Some deaf can read lips. And when you watch a sign language interpreter, you can also see the mouth movement. Sometimes it's an emphasizes, and sometimes it's the word silently spelled with the mouth. Use communication device. If you have not had a sign language class on sign, you can use a mobile phone. You have videos, you can chat, WhatsApp. It's a very easy way to communicate with deaf people. The old style. Paper and pen, write back and front. You sit, you write a message, show to the deaf, he writes a message and brings back. It takes time, but it works. So patiently is very important. When you communicate with deaf people, you have to be patient. Light is very important. If I'm standing here and I have to look to the interpreter, which is on my right, the light behind the glaring window would not be a good position for me. But when I sit like our deaf people sit, the angle of where they sit is very good. He can see the sign language interpreter well. So be in a very well lit environment with the light in front shining towards you, not backlight. That makes the eyes tired and it's not good to see. Avoid face masks. If possible, avoid face masks when you're communicating. Even when you're speaking and the sign language interpreter signs, try to not use face mask. The deaf people, when they listen to you with their eyes, they listen with their eyes, then they are looking at you while also looking at the sign language interpreter, and to get cues about what you're communicating, what emotion and feelings you're portraying. So important to not wear masks if possible. In the medical field, there are some masks where the mouth is with a foil, so you can actually see it, but I have not seen it here. of course, the best way to communicate with the deaf? Learn the language. Are you aware that it is easier for a hearing child to be born in a deaf family than a deaf child in a hearing file? Sign language and spoken languages are equal on their language acquisition. So when a child is born and a deaf family signs to a hearing child, no problem, it's very good, because the language center in the brain will be developed. So there is no language deprivation. But when two hearing parents get a deaf child and do not sign to the child or have a deaf caretaker, mostly households have caretakers. So when you have a deaf child, the easiest and fastest way to get language acquisition for the child, get a deaf signing caretaker for the child, while you parallelly learn the language too. So that's why two deaf parents and a hearing is easier, because the language is already there from day one. Children who are in a deaf family will learn speaking through kindergarten, the neighbors, the grandparents, and interaction in family. So these children will simply be bilingual children. And this is shown to be very beneficial for brain development, to be bilingual. So what we're here for? We're actually at the end. We had a 12-week course, Introduction to Sign Language, as language acquisition is a human right. This is the course. It was 12-week Introduction to Language, to Sign Language. Thanks to the Dean, thank you very much, for allowing this course to be happen. Thank you, Stella Dushabe, who had the idea to set up this course. Actually, the brain behind this course is Stella Dushabe. Kindly stand up. Then, our language facilitator, our trained sign language teacher, Brian Sunday, on my right, the one with the red necktie, is now signing, he's interpreting for me, which is very nice, thank you. He is our sign language trainer, who was teaching us sign language. And as you see here, we have several deaf native signers on each class, and that's very important. Each class had at least one native signer. Very important in language acquisition, and also to avoid cultural appropriation. Imagine I teach Nyankole as a German national without involving a native speaker. I can be, because maybe I went to Makerere in the language school and got a certificate and trained for several years in Nyankole. But still, for cultural appropriation, it's good to have a native speaker or signer working with you. And that's why you see our deaf friends are with us. That's very important. So what have we taught? That was a short curriculum, 72 hours. And we have the basics of sign language. We have the vocabulary, like the words for daily use, the words for professional use, and the numbers. In the finger spelling, the numbers and letters are spelled, and then signs. In basic communication and turn taking, how to make a dialogue and a presentation. We also had storytelling, so students, we came in front and told the story. This storytelling, and deaf cultural norms and communication. So these were the key elements of our training for 72 hours. Now is it to you? The next is you get a certificate. We have done the course. Today is a day of celebration. You get a certificate of participation. We are planning to advance this course so that we have credit units. But for that, we need the course to be longer, more intensive, and we will have exams. Exams, you have to, like any other language, English 1, English 2, French 1, French 2. In sign language, it's the same. There are levels. So we are now working hard with Stella, with the dean, and our dear teacher to develop a higher level course with credit units. That is our plan. So this is a beginning. And I wish you all a happy celebration of this day of disability and special needs awareness. Thank you very much. It was a great pleasure to be here and speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anki Varsite. Anki is more of a Ugandan than some of you. She has been in Uganda for about 20 years, Anki? 22 years. Yeah, so, and yeah, we welcome you to Uganda. And what's your Ugandan name? And where is Waswa? Waswa is in Germany. Okay. When you see her, you send a gift to Waswa. Ladies and gentlemen, in the house, we do have the Chairperson District Council for Persons with Disability, Mr. Richard Vogele. Yes, after our persons representing UNAD have spoken, he'll speak to us in a word or two. At this moment, allow me to welcome and invite the persons from communication from UNAD, representatives from Barra Branch, and this is Betty, Julius, and Betty and Julius. Please speak to us in just a few minutes.
She's saying that according to the timetable, I was to speak something. So, so I told them that let them speak first, then I will be the last. I will conclude. Okay? Can he stay there or he can move forward? That you move. Okay. The lights. Okay. The university administrators here, in their different capacities, the students, and other partners, and political leaders, in case they are here, I greet you all, and I bring you greetings from UNAT. Today is a special day because soon we are celebrating the International Disability Day, and at the same time we are closing our sign language class. So personally, I'm happy and to be here. Before, let me introduce myself, and my name is Julius. That one, Mutagubya. I represent UNAT. I'm a trainer, I've been with you, you know that. So I only want to inform students and to congratulate you for finishing your course. Yeah, and it's true, we have been working together, since for 3 months. Hasn't been an easy thing, but we have had some students. There are those ones who have stayed there, but the issue was about the timetable, where the timetable was actually colliding with our lessons. And some students would miss today, then come tomorrow, but I can see and I can tell that you are now very experts. I feel so happy when I see some students signing there, and surely in 3 months, and someone can sign, that's something surprising. I also want to thank so much the university administrators of MUST for thinking about sign language program. Madam Stella, we have worked together. We have worked together with Ank, then Brian. Yeah, we have always brought different ideas to teach sign language. And to you, the university dean, thank you so much for accepting this program, because we are here because of you. Because this shows that Mbarara University is an inclusive university. Thank you so much. So, and it's so good. And I want to inform you, students, that sign language is very important, and it's a life skill. It's not for the deaf only, but it's for the public, for the entire community. Because anytime any of you can become person with disability, maybe the ears can go off, and you know what causes that? Sometimes hearing loss goes with age, so you need to prepare. Some of you students, after finishing from this university, you will become professionals in different courses. And you will meet deaf people in different ways. Some of you will become doctors, I know. Some of you will be nurses. Some of you will be serving in different communities. You meet the deaf people there. So don't just say, I can't, or you just kubonga and you leave, please. We have given you the basic communication skills, and those ones can really help you and give you an opportunity to communicate with the deaf. So you have now finished the course. Now I expect you to be confident and communicate with the deaf people. Is it true? Is it true, class? But remember, the time you started, you were all fearing the course. You meet the deaf person, and someone doesn't even want to greet you. They would run you. They would write on papers. But this time, writing is done. It's only signing. Yes. So you see? So different people use sign language. Especially, you look at the army, in police. If they do this, what is the meaning? If they do this, there is something they are referring to. And it's all sign language. So me, I'm giving you an example now. If I do this, don't you understand me for sure if I sign like that? So Mary, you mean you have not understood? Or if I point at you like that, don't you think you can understand? Yes, so that is it with sign language. So I have been reading some of your feedbacks on our WhatsApp group. They are really touching. Some students are too interested in sign language and they want to continue. all the feedbacks there were very positive. So I don't know, they wanted some more time. Maybe mine is to maybe request the university to think about maybe creating up a sign language course unit. That is what would be, so that as these students go, other incoming students can also take it up and they also learn basics in sign language. Yeah. Yeah, because for reading the feedbacks, it showed how much students are interested in this university. There are universities like Chambogo where they have such programs. So even in Barara University, we can have one. So it's my simple request to you, Mr. Dean. Lastly, as I finalize, I want to thank this team of people, because if they were not there, we wouldn't even be here. Then to you, the students, the coordinators, you have been so good. The discipline has been so nice. And I never had any problem with any of you students. So you have really understood the disability issues. Thank you so much. And I hope to meet you again. Thank you so much. And it's done, and let me now hand over to Betty. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Our Dean of Students, our district leader present, our disability representative, we know you because you started it here. I'm really very proud to be here. And yes, if you can read our theme there, what does it read, Nabon? You sign it. Nabon, can you sign it? So that it is saying that succeed we must. So, Bwana Dean, we must succeed. My name is Betty, and I'm sorry, I don't speak, I use sign language, so whenever you meet me, this is what you should expect. My ears are always with the interpreters, so my interpreters are always my ears, because I'm only happy that now all of these students now can help me whenever I'm going, and because communication is simple. Now, personally, I grew when I was a hearing person. And for now, I have become a sign language instructor for 20 years. In workshops, in students like you. So, remember, I've told you I was born hearing, but then later I became deaf. I joined a hearing school where there were no interpreters, and things were not easy, but as we say that succeed we must, I also succeeded. So thank you so much, Bwana Dini, of Barara University, because this is the second time we are with you in disability issues. So I think so. Are they 2 times? More than even 2, more than 2. Yeah, saying maybe, because I remember the first time there was a minister called this one, James. Yes. So I remember before, it's when I came in, when he was still a minister for people living with disabilities in this university. And I know you have always been with us. We have built rapport. You are too friendly. We know you, and whenever we meet you, we always feel happy. Thank you so much, and can give the dean flowers. Yeah, because he has always advocated for this. So in Uganda this time, they are now talking about inclusion, but the only problem is accessibility. The accessibility is the only issue, and actually including this university. But I want to thank you again, Dean, for this kind of advocacy, because you are becoming an example to other leaders in the university. In universities like BSU, which is a private university, they have tried to see how to advocate for inclusion and inclusive programs, but it's not easy. But we hope that in the future, we can. And even us here, we can also benchmark from other universities which have disability policies, so we can also improve. So I am also a second-year student doing my master's in social work at BSU, and all my 2 years I've been campaigning for inclusion in the university there. And we have gone to different universities and schools, and I am so happy that even here we are breaking barriers. So, our students, thank you so much for working with us, for not failing us. Thank you, and thank yourself. Guys, please appreciate yourself. Because sign language is not for the weak. So when I say we have succeeded together, this is what I mean. Otherwise, I want to thank the university for this spirit, and may we continue with the spirit, and we can continue coordinating, working out with Brian, then we can always be good to go. Brian has always been my ears, my interpreter, and full time we are always together in many different places. So whenever you see him, I can be there, and whenever you see me, he can also be there. And thank you, Brian, for supporting us, because you have really helped us. So in one way or the other, sometimes when we miss you, we don't feel okay, but he's always in our shoes to help us. So for now, I want to thank the university team for the cooperation, the interpreters, and I know that we shall always advocate for improvement. So that is those are my little words, and I want to thank you, students. So you only need to keep practicing, dear students. When you go back and be like, now I got a certificate, so no need of practicing again. No, you have to continue practicing. So, because if you can do that, I'm even ready to lobby for students to come and join this university so that we can be helped. Because many students with disabilities, you hear them, they are going to Kampala, to Chambogo, because they feel at home. But I'm sure even here very soon, the deaf people and other categories of disability will also feel at home, maybe in the future. But otherwise, I want to congratulate all of you. Thank you so much, and succeed we must. So ladies and gentlemen, before I sit down, I also want to say something. The university dean, our our chairperson, Disability Council, Mbarara District. We have worked together actually in many different workshops. You're welcome. Madam Stella, who is an administrator in the Dean's office. Thank you so much. And Madam Engineer, this one. And Bwana Dean, this one means someone who understands her understanding is beyond maybe, I don't know, but this is her side name, and that is Engineer Ank. And she has really been very helpful to us. And then to James, thank you so much for creating the WhatsApp group. I think this is the group, the WhatsApp group admin, where most of you are. You can also thank him. And then I also want to thank some lecturers here whom we have been studying sign language with. If you are a lecturer somewhere in a university or in some other place, or you are an instructor, please stand up for recognition. Yes. Yes. You know, keep standing, keep standing, keep standing, keep standing, keep standing. So, Bwana Dean, these people are also teaching somewhere, but they picked interest in learning sign language. Some of them are your lecturers, like Shira. We have Dr. Wesije is also here. Dr. Tuonjirwe. So he's part of us, and he has really shown interest. But you know, sometimes lectures were colliding, but he really tried. You can sit down. Then the other one, besides Simo, is a lawyer. He's also teaching at LDC here in Mbarara. And so many others. I may not mention all of you, but I really wanted to recognize you. He's now the minister of the people with disabilities. You can stand up, sir. And what is your name? Yeah, he's Abdara. He's the chairperson of people living with disabilities in this university. So after James, he gave it to him. So I don't know whom you are giving to after. I want to thank Angela. Angela Nakato, where is she? Yeah, Angela is there. Bwana Dean, before I knew anyone here, I got to know Angela first. Some years back, when actually for her, she has been inclusive, because on graduation days, I think, the first graduation after COVID, she invited sign language interpreters who are there. The next one, even including this previously done. So she makes sure that sign language interpreters are always there. So it means for us, she has been inclusive. And even apart from that, I think we have also gone, I've also attended some meetings where she's also an MC in meetings of people with disabilities. So, Angela, thank you so much. Yeah. How I wish we could all be like her. So now, to my fellow lecturers who stood up, this is to you. You have learned sign language. I would wish to see you, influencing something or some group out there. Huh? This Dr. Tuonjirwe has some students here. It is very funny. So he's here with the student. I don't know who beats who now. But I can surely tell you that the student is very good, especially in finger spelling and reading signs. And I think apart from Filda, you can stand up. Filda is one of the students of Dr. Tuonjirwe. Do you have any other? Sorry? So you can sit down. So I also want to introduce to you the different courses we have here. People from, medicine People who are doing medicine, can we stand up? Medicine? So these are our future doctors. We shall be finding them in hospitals. Fred, we shall get there, and any other. People from engineers, software engineers. Bernardine, we have, I think they are the most, how many are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, around 8 students. Nurses in practice. Nurses. We have the nurses here. We can give them flowers. Yes, people who are doing accounts and finance. Where are you? Sorry? Okay. Then university staff who are not lecturers, but they are university staffs. We have Winnie, we have Mary, we have Nabon. Can you stand up? Okay. So these ones are university staff, but not lecturers. Then we have, what are other courses? Gender, we have Amoding. Gender, students are doing gender course. Yes, these two are doing gender. Another course, have not mentioned. Pharmacy, standard. People are doing pharmacy. Who want? Oh, we have 3 of them. What is your course? Education. Education, stand up, teachers. Teachers, 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 teachers. You can see them. They are very smart. Yours is laboratory. Stand up. So Bernardine, you can see they even finger spell the words now. They don't tell me. So these 2 are doing laboratory. Thank you so much. Other courses? Yes? Physiotherapy. Massage people, eh? Stand up. Yeah, that's a Kasese darling. Thank you so much. We have some courses I've not talked about. What is your course? Accounting. Did you stand up? Sorry? Okay. So do we have any other course I've not talked about? Okay. So Bernardine, these are the students from different courses that we had. And to be honest, the students have done well. They really need to be promoted to classes of their choices. And I want to congratulate you students. You have been so good. 3 months is not much time. But 3 months, I want to be honest, you're doing much more better than what I knew even after I had completed my first year in sign language. And I'm being honest. So the only thing you need to do is to practice. The other day, someone asked me that if I want to be a pro like you, what do I do? You need to do what? Practice. That's the only thing. Okay? So let's keep in practice because I know the future is brighter. Now, the dean said that sign language is being taken to hospital. Sign language interpreters. Now imagine a nurse who knows sign language. Isn't she selling like a hot cake? So please, let's not leave what we have already gotten, okay? Let's try to practice. Those of you who will be a bit close, we shall be moving together, but you can also go to different places, churches. If there are meetings, you can decide to sign. Nobody will chase you from there, okay? Go to church, go to mosques. Where is Karim? Karim, you need to, you understand? Yeah, you need to go to mosques, go to churches, different meetings, and try to practice. Because I want to tell you, sign language is good. I come from a humble background, before I conclude. But from the university first year, during my first year from the university because of sign language. Me, I never dreamt of sitting in a plane. But you guys, I have traveled. I've gone to different countries, not one, two, not even three, because of sign what? And you know the beauty with sign language is nobody has ever asked me for my papers. Because I can do what? Sign. So you too can do the same. What is important is the skill as of now, okay? But when he has a meeting in Uruharo and he needs an interpreter, do you think he will first say, you present your papers for a one-day workshop? Not really. You'll go there and make your money and go back. Are we together? Yes. Even these days of when Angela was calling us for sign language, don't think we were working for free. She has been paying us and some good money. Yes. So if she can call me, who has not studied it from must, now imagine if she gets a student who knows sign language and is also from must. Are we together? So let's practice. That's the only word I can tell you. Otherwise, I really want to thank the administration of this university. Bernardine, I don't know which words I can use to describe you, but to me, anyone who brings me people who want to learn sign language, I feel so happy. Because when we become many, we become strong. Are we together? Right now, I am a vice president of sign language interpreters in Uganda. Did you know that? And our president is Maureen Nambarirwa. She works on NTV. That brown woman who works on NTV is our president, and I'm the vice. Are we together? So you try to practice, we shall also bring you there. Okay? Many TV stations are starting. In Mbarara, I've seen another one, RIT, RIT TV, has started. I have seen people on the GMTV, they are calling me for sign language what? Interpreters, and I don't have them. So let's work together and we improve this skill. Are we together? Thank you, Bernardine. Thank you, Madam Stella. Thank you, Madam Ank. Thank you, Betty and Julius, for being with us all the time. Like Betty said, we are always together for many years, since the day I came to Mbarara, and Betty has really helped me improve. I was also like you, by the way, but because of her and maybe other few friends, that's why now you think I'm a pro in sign what? Language. Otherwise, I want to stop here for the interest of time. Sorry? Haven't understood? Okay. So I want to stop here and to invite you, Mr. Bogele, to also speak to us. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Brian, and a colleague, because I've known Brian for quite long. The administrators of Mbarara University of Science and Technology, Mbarara University Students Fraternity. I want to first congratulate those who have managed to finish a 3-month course in sign language. I want to congratulate you, and I want to thank you so much for choosing the right place for you to be in. Because when you look at inclusion, sign language interpretation is one of the key areas, because we have been facing a challenge on accessibility when it comes to communication. So I think Bernardine and Madam Stella, this is the right thing. This is the right foundation, and it is a good one, because at least I'm seeing some signs of inclusion in Mbarara University of Science and Technology. My name is Richard Bogere, and I also have a disability, but when I like sign language, but because of my vision, I could not learn because, you know, sign language, when you're not able to see very well, you cannot do what? Cannot learn it. So that's how I messed up. But I want to tell you the truth that if you want to succeed, like as he has been saying, there is a saying that practice makes what? Practice makes perfect. If you want to be perfect in whatever that you're doing, especially in sign language, you must practice. And after practicing, you'll thank these people who have trained you in some few years to come for the fruits that you will have obtained, because sign language interpreters are now on market. I think Wanadine has already communicated all that I wanted to say, because I came while not knowing that I was going to say something. But it is not good to come in a congregation like this and then you leave my not speaking. So Wanadine has talked of recruiting sign language interpreters in all healthcare systems at the level of health center 3 years and above. So you can imagine. Actually, last night I was watching certain news, and the Minister for Disability was talking of, she was saying those sign language interpreters are already in those health facilities, but I said it is not true. So meaning the government is struggling to bring those people on board, and where are they? You are the people, you keep the certificate you get from here. This is a public university, and I think Wanadine, the certificates will be having Bara University of Science and Technology. Yes, so that certificate is so important. After that, I will talk about some other opportunities. Government, when we look at the theme of this year, when it comes to international celebrations for persons with disabilities, we are not leaving out inclusion. Inclusion, inclusiveness is now the way to go. And when you look at the government is working hand in hand with the NGOs in Uganda and even other countries. They are trying to bring in a component of community-based inclusive development. And when you look at that component, it aims at leaving no one behind. If you are a deaf, you're not left behind. That's why these people thought of bringing up a simple course of training sign language interpreters, and we have so many people in our communities. And those people, they also need to understand what we are communicating. You can imagine, I want you to, one of our colleagues has given you a simple task. I want you to imagine someone is sick, he doesn't hear, goes to the hospital. Now the kind of communication you might find, actually most of them, they go to these hospitals, and because of that little communication or no communication between the medical person and the one who is sick, some of them go when their issues are not handled. So that's why the government is struggling. And you are the people. When you go in your different communities, try to be the ambassadors. Try to practice, be the ambassadors, and at the end of it all, you will thank these people for the trainings, for the gifts that they have impacted in you. Then when you look at the government programs, Bernardine has talked of different government programs, but the government of Uganda is looking at inclusion and inclusiveness. That's why they have introduced another program or a grant whereby persons with disabilities are getting grant. I don't know whether you know it, we call it special grant. It is only for persons with disabilities. Initially, it was for only older persons with disabilities, those who had national IDs. But these days, the system has changed. And I think Wanadine has not mentioned it. So I want to give you this information so that when you reach in your communities, I know we are from different communities, some are from Uganda, and those who are from abroad, other countries, I'm not sure. So this money is from the Ministry of Gender, Labor and Social Development. They give money from 5 members to 15. But I want to encourage you that when you go back to your respective communities, I don't know whether we have persons with disabilities who have participated in this small course. Do we have them? Can you stand up for recognition? Those who have participated in this small course for sign language interpreters, the participants. Hey, good. Okay, thank you. So now, when you reach in your respective communities, kind of spread this information that the government is giving out the money. Recently, actually last year, Mbarara district got twice. Because of what? Because other districts did not apply. There is a criteria that we normally follow. You send those, you use your work directly with the district community development officer as office, and then you identify yourselves. If you have members, you form a small association. I normally encourage people that at least you form a group of 5. Because they are saying minimum 5, maximum 15. Now the amount of money you get is 5 million, that is the maximum. So why should you bother to form 15 people and yet you know? If you have a group of 15, it's split into 3 groups. Then you fill the form, submit them to your respective district community development officers. They submit them to the ministry, you get the money. And that money, when you get it, it is aiming at improving your lives. Because you know there are so many people with disabilities in our different communities who are not educated. Those who are educated are not employed. And the government looked at that and were like, let's do something so that these people can also earn a living. Then secondly, we have an inclusive employment, whereby each district here in Uganda, we have a person representing persons with disabilities on a service commission. And the major aim as to why those people are there, they are to fight, they are to defend you people who are living with the disabilities. If you are a person with a disability and you applied for a job you qualify, you are given the first priority. That's why in our years together, me and Madam Stella, we suffered. We had a lot of suffering. All the way from studying. If you know if you know a person with a disability who is 30 years and above, you know, for them they suffered a lot. Because when they were studying, there were no things like this that we're doing here. So I want to thank Dean, together with Madam Stella and the administration of Barra University of Science and Technology for this initiative. Things were not easy. There are other universities in Uganda, both public and private, but when you do benchmark, you'll find at least this university is far ahead compared even to Chambogo University. I was in Kenya recently. There is an institute it is called Kenya Institute of Special Education. They came and benchmarked from Chambogo here. But when you go back here, when we go to Kenya now and you see what they are doing, I tried to interact with them. I was there for 2 months. Tried to interact with them. I was like, where did you get all this? Then one of the directors told me, you're from Uganda, but we got all this from Chambogo. But to my surprise, when you go to Chambogo, things changed. Can you imagine you produce a child and then that child accumulates more wealth than the father? That is what is happening between Uganda and Kenya. So I want to assure you that the future is bright, because where we are going, we are not like in the past. I've told you, like if I'm to give a small testimony on myself, me, I studied in 10 schools. 10. That is a primary level, at primary level. Because wherever I could go to this primary school, people would tell me, Richard, for you cannot see. Go to the other school, we cannot manage you. Can you imagine? We have parents here, like Dina said. I don't think we have anywhere where you can go and decide or say that I want to produce a child with a disability. Or he even us who are here, the one who call themselves able-bodied. You may live here and on reaching home, you find yourself with one leg. We have so many different diseases these days. You may get pressure and then it attacks your eyes and you become blind. You'll never see again. So meaning, let's learn to treat our colleagues in an equal manner, so that, because you know what, you don't know what you will be tomorrow. Are we together? So I want to thank Mbara University. I want to thank Madam Stella. When she thought about this, she engaged me, and I want to assure you, Madam Stella, that yesterday we had one of our colleagues that we shared the other concept, and she was very happy. We had a simple discussion, but she asked me about this. Remember, I think there is the way how God does his things. I received the invitation, and that lady came. So she was asking, how did your thing go? Told him the first cohort is done. So kind of request that maybe after this you can write a simple report, share with her. You never know what will come later. Maybe in the next planning, you never know. Something might come out of the other side. I want to thank you, and the Mbara district is proud of this university because of what you are doing, because we are trying when it comes to issues of inclusion, issues of inclusive education. We are trying, and I promise that at least we are moving, and where we are heading, it is promising. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time we've been waiting for receiving of certificates. Brian, I seek your guidance on this. Brian had told me that, Fielder, you're going to read the names in sign language. I don't know if it's an exam for you. Are you graduating before this? So I will invite our tutors to stand in front. Frida, you're this side of ours. We're the students. Our tutors, the guest of honor, to come. So a student, you're not graduation. Some of you have never been there. You come, shake hands, and then receive the certificate. They have even brought water, so no excuses. So our tutors, please come in front. Our guest of honor, the dean, please, let's stand in front. Take your time, shine. That's why we said we're finishing at 5. So,
No speaking, finger spread, then the person comes.
yeah, in front here. Yes. So, let's say. Okay, Frida is not supposed to talk. She has started the first person. Clap for her. You start from the other side. Read the next one, read the next one. I like this, everyone is attentive. Okay. Read the next one. If your name is Akatwijo Karuhanga Kababyo, I feel that. I think you stand here. Let that one go. Let that one go. Read the next one. Time. Lapon. You're the one, eh? Because you're the one. So take that one. We save time. She will be reading even names. I'll be reading the others to save time. So that one has gone. Kangume, you're next after this one, so you're spelling this one. He's around. The next is Mary Agaba. Benji, don't miss anyone. People love their photos. No, no, that's not the person. I think Mary, you're ahead of someone. Okay. Read this one. You start from the other side. Benji? Maria, please receive your certificate after. Receive your certificate. It's next. Benji. I want you to spell. You need to take your picture. Tom Bonipa, you're next. So she's spelling the other name. Now, fill them. I'll read yours, but you'll pick it later. Now, spell the next one. Aine Richard, you're next. After the name, the spelling. Please, people coming for the photo moment, don't cover Stella when you're taking your photo. And whoever didn't wear a suit for graduation, may the God of Akelekele punish you. It's only the legal advisor who put on a suit. Graduation is supposed to be in a suit. This one is not allowed. So the person who reads names at graduation is called the dean. So Dean Fielder. Why are you laughing? From my mouth to God's ears. What is she up to? Do we have Arizona Ronald Owama? Are you ready? You're saying the last two, okay. She spells so fast. Tendo Grace, be ready to save time. Chigozi George Sebagala. Nkonge Johnson. Wait for your, okay. Follow the order. Ogwal Billy, be ready. Ogwal Billy. Active Crescent, Active Crescent. Put it there if she's not around. Give them, baby. They're going to read this name. Let me see if the owner is listening. Why is Anki having 2 certificates? And Stella, they studied twice. Tumukunde Nabon, be ready. Oh, he got it. Yeah, give him flowers. Emmanuel Africano. Emmanuel Africano. He's not around. Okay. They're there. Those were not around. Josephine Joyce. Julius. Julius too. Oh, Julius is a tutor. He'll get last. Max Mulema. Oh, he has come. Okay. Okay. These ones will get last. Cyber School. Okay, now let's read these. Okay, let's read this. Because they're not seeing, we'll have to read. Yes. So we are now recognizing our facilitators. So I think you have to stand there. Please don't consider yourself a facilitator. Next facilitator. What? He was giving free marks. Filda, take it slow. Anki, they have spelled your name. And you have 2 certificates. I don't know why. Brian, come on. You'll spell it. Okay, that's corruption. And then Stella, as a student and as a coordinator. Okay, Michelle, let me just check. Excuse me. What's your name? I think I saw that. There's this one. Fielder, you've gone. Fielder, we're still working. Come. Look for his. He's not had his name. Here. Let's give him a blank one. What is his name? Madam who? No, just hold on. We have one more student. We had missed his name. We have two. No, this is a lecturer. Tumsime Jonans. Oh, sorry. I thought it's Jonans, the lecturer. Sorry about that. I thought it's Jonans. I had put it away that he's not around. Yeah. Reste, please, Namsoke. Come and receive your certificate. Okay. Hey. Uncle. He picked the certificate before. Horia Kozat. We were delaying him. Please come and have a handshake on behalf of Reste. Banange, that student. Kasasa Nakato Dokas is not around. Which one is it? Okay, Gende. Okay, Obed is next.
You are reading this one, not this one.
He did not attend. He did not attend. He did not attend. You can't give a certificate to someone who didn't attend. Loves best. In appreciation, ladies and gentlemen, with consultation, I request the Dean to hand over this to Mr. Richard Bogere for attending our ceremony. Yes. Yes. I invite you, ladies and gentlemen, every time there is celebration, there is eating. Allow me to invite Mr. Tom Bonimpa to take us for prayer. We shall do a group photo outside, and then you're welcome. Bon appetit, dinner gabude. So let's have a prayer for Mr. Tom Bonimpa. Please come here, yes. And he's wearing our t-shirt, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Tom. When he finishes, I'll tell you what the logo means.
Thank you, Angela. Let's humble us. Let's humble ourselves and we pray. Lord, we thank you for this moment. We thank you for all that you've done for us. We thank you for your protection, and we thank you that we have gone through these classes. Lord, we come to you to ask for your blessings. May you bless our meals that we are going to share. May you continue to be with us. In Jesus' name we pray.
Yeah, if you look at the logo, this is not sexual harassment. I'll touch him. There are three people. Together we shall stand. And when we have support of the university, we shall always shine. That is the yellow, across all nations. That is our logo. I pay you. Let's go for a group photo outside. Once again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the meal.